Hello there, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube, and welcome back to the Talos Principle commentary walkthrough, and today we are going to be taking on before anything else happens. I get to use that pun
In this
twice.
world, you're alone. There's nobody out there to help you, nobody to share your struggles with. You nut up and you face each challenge with nobody but yourself to blame for your failures. Even your successes are meaningless. Why?
Well, I like to think there's a point of escaping to play a little video game now and then, even if it accomplishes absolutely nothing. Actually, I think I've kind of heard that, playing video games, as you might know, not only boosts your intellect and makes you a lot more handsome, but in turn, it also makes you a bit more active in the mind. You're a bit better at hand-eye coordination in a sense. I like to think that, at least. I'm not really sure if anyone could confirm this, but I'm sure I could. I have probably the best ninja skills of being able to shut down a computer in less than 2 seconds. Yes. But I won't be doing that right now, obviously. I cannot demonstrate it because, one, I need to practice and make sure that my skills are honed, but also because I'm playing a game right now, and the game means I have to do this, otherwise, well, the playthrough's just gonna stop, and we won't have anything to do. Like the Talos Principle, we can't have it prematurely end, because we've just introduced, for one thing, a new gimmick, and probably also because we're only about halfway through the game. There's still quite a lot to cover. But this is something that we unlocked previously, which is the copy machine. It makes a recording of yourself, and your vision kind of goes into this sort of camera mode. And the way this works is actually one of the more interesting gimmicks of this place. So, we could do just about anything as we could normally when we're actually recording, We could set something up like this if we so desired. However, once we play it, then everything kind of gets reset. However, your simulations will still stay behind, so you can look at yourself running around, placing a connector, and you can essentially assist yourself with a previous recording of yourself, and then you can solve puzzles just like that. Like, that is a really, really awesome gimmick. I love it. And I also really love the fact that even my model as a recording also has, like, the SAM version of the robot, which is, it's quite amazing. But yeah, the copy machine, this is basically the tutorial level of a lot of different copy machine puzzles. Some of them can get extremely hefty to work with at times, but here we have a chance to relax, because these are only the easy ones. Self-help tutorial involves you standing on a button for a couple of seconds. There's a switch over there which actually disables this energy field, so this is a bit of a two-step process. First, do that. Stop it. You can also prematurely stop what you've recorded just by hitting the stop button like that. I wanted to do it quickly, otherwise it would just play out by itself and I wouldn't get a chance to demonstrate it, obviously. And then we just stand on this button, wait for a few seconds for the me in the future to actually go and collect that sigil, and that would be the end of that. In fact, one thing I actually forgot to do was get the time capsule. I should do that. You must forgive me for that sudden jump cut. I wanted to load an old file in order to collect the time capsule first and foremost, but I can't do that now because once again I find myself over the amount of sigils I had for my original backup, and it was one sigil, of course, and that would have been the very first puzzle I did. So we're gonna listen to the time capsule now in between puzzles.
DNA is information transmitted across time. The living and the dead are part of the same chain, bound together by chemistry. That's true of all species. But humanity has taken this bond further. Thanks to technology, we have access to the thoughts and ideas of people whose physical bodies are long gone. Like you listening to me now. Even though I'm definitely dead at this point, you're part of that chain. You have the capacity to remember.
I have about the memory of an elephant, probably. And I'm also really good at my memory because clearly I remember the fact that there was a time capsule all the way out there before I actually started doing the puzzles. Sorry about that. Right then, so this next puzzle has two buttons, one here and one here. That one opens the back door. Once again, the recorder comes into play where you get to look at yourself stand on a couple of buttons for a while. and that will lead you to the sigil. It's like you don't even have to do anything in the present, because the past, all it really wants you to do is just kind of walk forward, and you'll get through it eventually. And there's also a ladder over there in the event that you possibly get stuck, although I'd imagine... Well, no, I'll give you a bit more credit than that. You probably shouldn't get stuck on this puzzle, but if you do, don't worry, there is a way to escape. Next up, we are going to travel all the way over to here to a very redundant power supply. There's a fan on the other side, and it's pushing you off the button. So even if you think, oh, well, you know what, I'm just gonna go grab this box and then place it on the button, and then I won't have to worry about it. I'll just run right towards the fan, and everything will be fine. No, you can't hold the door open like this. It blows the box off. Instead, what we're gonna do is actually a little bit more complex than what we've already demonstrated thus far. There's these two connectors right here, these lasers. You could stop the flow of one of them, but the other one will keep on keeping on the other thing active. So, hence the meaning of the name redundant power supply. So, we're going to record ourselves taking this box over here and placing it right about here, jumping on, and cutting off half the power supply. Once you do this correctly, if you wait a little bit of time so that way you have just a window of a space to take the box with you, thus you will reactivate the lasers, but at the same time, you should have just enough of a time frame to place it on the button and grab the fan. Actually, a lot more time, because this is one of those really, really slow connectors, and the panel just takes a million years for it to actually activate the power. A little bit more complex, but not something that will, like, make your head spin, I feel, anyway. At least it didn't really bother me that much when I first played the game. Another thing, this area is just ripped out from Serious Sam 3. Yeah, there's not really much of a difference between this and the other area, only in Serious Sam 3 it looks a lot more ruined, but if you didn't notice the similarities right here, it's a little bit glaring. There's also actually a QR code right over here. The burning heart always looks to the highest peak. That's a hint, in case you don't know. It involves a star, and that's gonna be a lot of fun to get. But we're not focusing on stars at the moment. Right now we must finish a couple of puzzles, such as this amazing looking one right here.
Now where in the hell did that come from? Carry on. Nothing to see here. Move along now.
And with that, we get treated to an actually pretty cool visual effect, in my opinion. I like how everything just kind of pops in after that. That is really neat. Right, there aren't going to be any recordings of us doing things right now, as if we're posting all of this stuff on YouTube, right? Instead, what we're going to be doing is using connectors once more, and it does involve a couple of fans. Rather than try using this connector to activate that panel up there, because if you do activate the fan, it's going to blow the box down, and that's actually quite a necessary piece to complete the puzzle. What we have to do instead is use this connector to reach this third connector. This area won't be relevant at the moment. Instead, we have to make a bit of a three-way, three-directional reflected laser beam. So we attach it to this one that we just placed, and then receive the box. And now we're going to catch the box with our prosthetic hands, bring them all the way over here, and then we have to bring the connectors with us once more. In fact, actually, I'm going to leave this one right here, because it's part of the solution, believe it or not. Is it? I think I might be doing this a little bit wrong. Hang on, I'll get through this eventually. Right, I think I actually do need to get the other connector with me. My mistake, I'm just a really silly person who likes to plan things ahead, but keeps forgetting that there are other certain elements that are preventing me from actually progressing with the puzzle. Because we can't really just take any of these fan pieces with us. What we need to do is we have to activate the fan as is, like so. And then we need to bring this connector with us, connected to that elevated connector up there on top of the fan, place it down, and watch the light show as it reveals the sigil. I do apologize for that. I thought I had everything perfectly planned out, but no, as it turns out, I'm just a moron sometimes.